Let's get started. Let me share my screen, guys. Are you able to see my screen, guys? I just shared it.
Yeah, I can view your screen.
Yes, okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Swati, can we start? I'm just checking. I've just shared my screen. Are anyone else joining? Hello. All right, guys. So thanks for joining in and welcome to today's demo session on Docker and Kubernetes. All right. So this is what we will do in this course, which we are planning to take one more batch, most probably evening batch for Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, let's get started. Before I proceed further, let me introduce myself. Okay, I'm Prashant P here. I have around 22 years of experience in IT industry, largely into data engineering, cloud platform, digital transformation, a lot of things at customer side. Regarding my DevOps and cloud solution, it's been 8+ years now. So, and it's fully client-based experience, not into production environments. Regarding my training and freelancing, it's been 5+ years. I'm associated with Visualpath. I've taken a lot of batches, more than 5,000 plus professionals I've trained, and they're certified as well. The advantage here is like I come with a huge industry experience, plus I'm not full-time only a trainer. I support a lot of customers in UK, US, and Middle East. So that experience I bring it over here, and that's the advantage. So all the examples, all the things which I will be discussing during this course would be all real time. All right, so I'll give you a few insights how it happens, what role we needs to play, and how these tools they will help in day-to-day life, right? Managing digital transformation, cloud automation, and all that thing. Because now these tools they come with inbuilt automation and orchestration power. All right, so that's the advantage. We also provide, if you guys are new and if you need some support, or if you are looking for a job change, or if you may be switching from current profile to another profile in the same organization, and you need some hand-to-hand or hand-holding sessions as in support, we extend that support as well. All right, there would be some cost associated based on number of hours and all that thing, right? But we also do that. All right, so we will be there, right, to support you, to back you in the situation where you want to take up a new role, new challenges. All right, so we'll be there. So this is about me. All right, so I'll start with Kubernetes first. All right, and then we will go to Docker. So Kubernetes, in the nutshell, it also dependent on Docker. All right, Docker, Kubernetes alone cannot do anything. Right, Kubernetes can manage my containers, manage my applications which are running as a microservice-based architecture services. Right, but Kubernetes on its own cannot create containers. Right, it needs Docker. Right, so we'll talk about Kubernetes and then we'll jump to Docker as well. All right, so in Kubernetes, basically we cover two certification tracks. One is CKA, which we call Certified Kubernetes Administration. Another is for developers, right, which we call Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. So when you develop a new solution, microservice-based architect solution-based application, you should keep in mind as a developer, your thought process is while building the solution, right? What all things, what all parameters, what all things, what are the nuances, what are the semantics, all that thing you should have in mind so that you can develop the solution towards that thing. So that is how it's all about development. If you ask me, the CK is most renowned, most powerful, and most recognized in the market, right? CK covers basically all the things. It covers complete entire cloud platform, how the application will be deployed, how you will be managing those applications single-handedly, seamlessly as a single man. So my aim is, the objective of this course is we will bring you to that level where seamlessly you will be single-handedly managing the entire cloud platform. All right, so that is what CK. It covers the installation part, it covers application deployment, it covers monitoring, it covers troubleshooting, it covers support, everything we do it here, right? So CKA. If you are not at admin part or a cloud infra part, or not go to a larger role as a DevOps architect, you want to go at the application side, you are coming from a development background, you can go with CKAD also. But if you want to enlarge your capacity to a bit larger scope, then you can go for CKA, CKD you can manage on your own, right? So if I compare both the courses, there's a 30% difference between CKA and CKAD. Right? 30% course is different. Largely, the functional and the basics and fundamentals will remain same. All right, so that is how we do. There's one more course they have added recently, which we call the CKS, Certified Kubernetes Security Specialist. That is for largely for security side and for people coming from security or CISO profile, cybersecurity for them, right? How the security can be planned while doing the development itself. We call shift left, right? Shift left, shift right, right? It should not be when you go at the end and hit some blocker in security side and say, okay, this vulnerability, that vulnerability. We plan all that security compliances right at the beginning while developing the solution itself. So there is one more certification which we'll be adding very soon here. All right, but as of now, we do CKA and CKAD. Right. So this batch, as of now, I'm targeting CK in mind, which is slightly bigger uh, in terms of covering all the scope under Kubernetes. All right. So that is what we are targeting. We'll have Q&A session also. You can ask me question also once I'm done with my PPT and presentation, because a lot of information you will get the answers automatically. So you can do that. If you have any question in mind, you can post it on the chat also. Right. If you feel that okay, you will forget it, put the questions on the chat. All right, so we will take your questions and we'll clarify in detail. Right, just hear me out. What I'm going to say, how what we are going to do, what is the intent of this session. Mostly, I'll give you all the information. All right, and we will get into discussion. So Kubernetes certifications, as we all know, it's a high in demand, right? So they are very high in demand. Normally, people even get shortlisted, right? If you have a tag of certificate Kubernetes certification or Kubernetes certified professional in your CV, even the big corporate houses, they do even scrutining of CVs based on the certification profile. So you will always get an edge. All right. And in this competitive world, right, so a lot of jobs are available. And this is how you can create yourself as a valuable profile. Right. So this is how it happens. So certification logo you can attach in your resume, and then once you float your resume for any job portal for any jobs in cloud or Kubernetes or particularly in orchestration platform as a cloud platform, right? You will be shortlisted. So this is the thing which you will be get recognized after the certification. Lot of corporate houses, they also push their people to get certified so that it is easy for the client to sell yourself to the client that okay, we have a certified professional people who would be working with you. And client without any hesitation, right? They always give an edge to the corporate houses who offer them a certified professional, right? So on their projects or support or even for the DevOps strategy to be built on clients, or because we are into digital transformation era. All right, so all these things we will talk more in detail. So let's start with CKA. So all these are hyperlinks. The moment I double click, it will open the real time certification, what all things are there. So I'll spend few minutes here and give you the information, what all things we do over the certification so that you can do it. All right, so this is basically CNCF, we called Linux Foundation, who does all the certifications and all that thing. All right, so I follow normally the certification track, right? So since we are investing money, time, everything, so my objective is that okay, we will in our course we have designed our course in such a way that all the modules we are preparing you for certification in a way. All right, so we have all the modules. There are some underneath things which the module have not mentioned that I'm covering as an additional part, but the end goal is end to end we are covering for, we are preparing you for the certification. All right, and we are following the same track, right, for this batch as well, right? So this is the batch we will be following it here. So let me give you some information here. So once you get certified, right, this is the logo, this is the certification you will get it, right? And it would be written as Certified Kubernetes Administrator, right? It's a basically a niche role. Administrator is a big role, right? So nobody gives me admin privileges even to install a small software in the company. I have to raise a ticket, service not ticket, and then we have to get a lot of approval. To get an approval, I have to give a lot of justification, this and that would be only temporary, right? So this is a basically an ocean where we are going to deep dive and we will learn how to swim across. All right. So what all things comes under here, right? Don't look at the fees and all that thing. There are some discount coupons, promo codes I will share with you so that you can get at least 20% discount and all that thing. This is just the certification fee. All right. It is in USD, right? What all things comes under, right? Once you buy this certificate, I'll spend a few minutes and give you that information as well. All right. They also started giving some training. Basically, it's a video-based training, right? No instructor. They have recorded videos and you just go through. But if you have a doubt, you will get stuck, right? So you have to raise a query and it will take time. People will turn up, not turn up in time, and all that thing, right? So they also started giving you the full curriculum with recorded videos, digital, and all that thing, plus certification also, right? Now, what all things covered once you buy this certificate, right? So let's spend few minutes here, then we'll talk about what all the certification things, what is the scope in terms of percentage, how much the storage, the questions would be asked. So they have mentioned the percentage also, right? So we'll move there also, but let's spend few minutes here. So once you go for certification, so basically all certificates nowadays are online, right? You need not to go anywhere, right? No metric center or go to that city in your city. There's no service, there's no exam center, and you have to go to somewhere other city to write the exam, right? That is not needed. You can write the exam from your home itself, right? Everything is online. Only thing is your laptop should have few configuration. They will do. They'll give you one small utility software which you have to install and run, and it will capture the report and it will say, right, you have ample resources on your laptop to give this exam. It will do a CPU memory and all that checks, right? So that in the exams you should not be any hurdles. Unless every exam is online, you can book online, you can reschedule online, whatever you want, everything is online. Your laptop should have webcam. So there will be a proctor, there will be a guy who will be sitting, right, when you write the exam, and who would be observing, who would be monitoring you. In case you need some support or some help, that proctor, that guy, he will help you, right? So they will ask you to scan the room and all that thing, and then you can start your exam. They will enable the exam for you, and the clock will tick, and the exam will be loaded, and you have to write the exam online. All right, so this is purely online mode. Duration of exam, right? It's 2 hours. So I think few people are not muted, and because of that, there's a lot of background noise. Can you guys please, Rajkumar and Ramesh, Namesh, Ishwar, can you please go mute, please, guys, to increase the quality of our recorded session? All right, so it would be online. Earlier, the CKA used to be 3 hours exam, and CKAD was two hours exam. CKAD basically a lightweight exam, right? So it used to be from the beginning 2 hours, but CKA was slightly tough exam. CKA used to be 3 hours exam, but now they reduced the complexity, right? And now they have normalized few things, removed unwanted things, and made basically a good to go exam for you. So it's 2 hours now, right? Not 3 hours. Earlier it used to be 3 hours, but now 2 hours, right? So CKA is 2 hours. CKAD is also 2 hours. This certificate is valid only for 2 hours. Sorry, 2 years, right? Why 2 years, right? You must be, right, wondering why 2 hours when you are paying so much money in dollars and all that thing. See, the goal is not to take money again and again from you. The objective here is, we believe that technology will change again after 2 years. It will never be a constant that okay, you are certified and throughout the world, throughout your life, it would be same. It is not like that. So we believe that technology will change after 2 years, and you should also upgrade, right? So we are in a paradigm world where everything is changing so fast. All right. So we also think that okay, at least 2 years is fine, but later you should upgrade. So that is the only intention. Some people they go for upgrade. Some people they keep as is. They say okay, I'm already certified and I already gained experience. I'm working on projects this and that, and you already have a senior profile. So nobody will ask you about that all that thing. Only thing is they will just say, are you certified or not? Right? So it depends on company strategy or corporate houses or even people who want to stay in high demand with the same profile, same role, right? They can go for even renewal of that thing, right? But this is how it is there, right? Now, once you write this exam, first time it would be slightly because you never face this thing and it might be a bit challenging that okay, first time you are writing the exam and all that thing. That's fine, but renewal will be very easy because you already know that what kind of the exam, what are the new things they have added and all that thing, because basic fundamentals already there in your fingertips. So it won't be a challenge, right? So either way, it would be a comfort journey, right? Now, once you take this subscription, right, once you pay the money, they will give you a 12 months window, right? This will be eligible. Basically, it's a subscription, right? It is valid for 12 months. You can write this exam anytime. Let's say today you have taken the exam, right? So 6th July 2024, it will be valid till 5th July 2025. Within that window, you can write this exam anytime. There are two exam, one plus one, right? So that means retake is free. You can write this exam after this, immediately finishing this course, because everything will be fresh in your mind, and you can plan within few weeks you can go for exam. In case, right, God forbid, right, you will clear the exam in first go itself. In case, you can plan anytime, but the window is 12 months. All right, so this you have to keep track. You have to log in and check when is your end date, when is the expiry, all that thing you need to do, all the tracking. One retake is free, as I said. So you need not to pay. Let's say right, you write the exam and you don't pass the exam, right, in one go. So no need to pay again. One retake is free. That means it comes with one plus one offer. All right. So this money, once you pay around $400 USD, right, one retake is free. If you pass the exam in one go, no need to go for a retake, right, because you are already certified. Why would you go and write the second term again, right? No need. All right, only in the event of failure, right, so that's the risk. Who will, because we are losing money, right, so they give one retake free, right? So now normally everybody is now copying these guys, and they also give a free retake, right? So this is the thing, so don't worry about it. You always have one more additional chance. All right, so this is what normally I will give you so much information, mock test and all that thing, how to prepare exams, all that thing, and I'm going to that track only, right? So I'm little bit doubtful that you need another chance, right? So you will clear the exam comfortably. So that is how we will do it here. All right, all the certificates nowadays are digital, so you will also get a digital badge and PDF certificate, and you can upload, right, in Cradley or wherever you want, right? You can do online verification, certificate number, everything is given, right? When the certificate you are certified, you will get with the number. That number, if you give to your corporate house, maybe HR or whoever wants to verify, they can verify online. All right, so this is what everything is digital. So you will get a PDF file, and you can always keep it. You can send it across, attach with your resume. If somebody asks you, send them over the email, right, or the link or digital badge and all that thing. Digital badge will help you to put the logo on your CV. All right, so that you are certified and you will be shortlisted, right, as and when anybody is looking for this kind of profiles. The current version, right, so it is 1.30. All right, so 1.30 is the version where the Kubernetes is current version, and you'll be writing exam on this version. Slight change they are making, right? Slight change. Last batch I trained in this year is 1.24, 25, 26, 27. Some every month, whenever they make some changes, they just increase the version. This version we call basically minor version. Right? This is the base version. One is the base version. If they tomorrow it comes to 2.0, then there are a lot of changes, right? But the minor changes is always with a decimal, and some number will be incremental if they are adding something here and there. All right, so this is how the current version is 1.30 is the version. This exam is not objective based. Objective means the question would be asked with some options, four options, and you select best of the best answer and you will get the mark. It is not like that. It's purely performance. What does that mean? Performance means all scenario based questions would be asked, right? There would be something wrong in the question, and you are not able to run the application, you are not able to run the pod, you are not able to run the container, right? That microservice is not able to run your business application. So what will happen? You have to do troubleshooting, right? You have to look around and fix the issues. So it is purely a performance based. How to do that? That anyhow I will be covering it, right? So this would be pure. So it's not an objective based questions, it is purely hands on. That is why they give you certification as an administrator. You will admin the whole platform. So that is how the certificate is also build your profile towards that. So it is preparing you that seamlessly you will be able to manage the entire infrastructure under cloud as Kubernetes administrator. All right, so it's a purely performance. How we'll do it, that I'll tell you. Anyhow, they will also give you one exam simulator. Basically, two exam simulators they give you. This exam simulator is exactly how you are going to write an exam. You will experience it in these simulators. The clock is ticking, questions are performance based, all that things, right? 2 hours and all that thing. But it's just a practice simulator to get certified in Kubernetes. So this is what they will be doing it. Now this exam simulator, right, if you practice 2 times, right, I always tell my people after finishing these trainings and all that thing, anyhow I'll be giving the complete overview, right, how to load and how to write exams, where is my lab and all that thing, right? It's purely lab driven, right? So you will get lab access and all that thing. So you will be, once you clear the simulator at least 2 times, right? Spend some time. 2 times, you don't need any other things to get certified. This simulator is good enough, right? We don't have too many things to, okay, practice this, go there, read this, practice this, and do this, do that, nothing is needed, only simulator. So we'll focus, we have a structured program for you so that you can get certified also. Right? So this will help you. So and it is coming from these guys directly. Right? So it is a pre-exam preparation kind of thing where you will be get prepared for these exams. Right? And once you get prepared and your preparations are done, you can go for exam. Right? When retake is free, so don't worry that you will pass or fail. Right? Don't keep that in mind. So don't fear. Right? Everything will be well structured for you guys. All right, now let me come here. What all things we are going to cover here? So here under the storage, let me expand this guy. So under the storage, this is the thing which I will be teaching you just to make you aware, right? Because in this modern world, what is the most expensive thing? Data is the most expensive thing, right? In Kubernetes also, we don't want to park our data outside, right? Because of the security reasons, data should be in control, right? Because my application would be accessing every now and then this data. So we'll be having the storage, right? So there are temporary storage, there are permanent storage, all the storage are there, right? So this persistent, right? So we will do all the thing, right? There are various types of storage classes and all that thing. Storage classes means vendors who are giving. So based on that we configure, right? So storage class is just an entity. It's a type of property which we will set, right? So basically it's coming from AWS, Azure, Microsoft, or in-house, or maybe my some other third party. All that we will do it here. But here the storage we call volume, right? Volumes we call storage, right? In Docker also we have the storage. Here also we have the storage. In Docker, we just say volume, but here in Kubernetes, we say persistent volume, right? Persistent volume, we say. Persistent means permanent. All right, so we are talking about permanent here, right? So all these nuances and all these terminologies, don't worry about it, right? First time it may be like sound unfamiliar, but very soon you'll get familiar because I'll be giving you all the tips, information, and all that thing. And it's expected also whenever we learn new technology, new tools, new terminology will automatically obvious to come right in front, and we have to learn all that thing. So persistent means permanent volume. So here we will see how we can do that, right? So and then understand, once you understand this volume, it comes with a mode. Mode is basically there are various types of mode, right? Whether you want a temporary, you want for long duration, or you want for till your project, right? Life of your project, you want the storage to be intact, all that thing. So we will get into these modes, right?
Prashant,
There are various modes. Yeah.
Prashant, your window is stuck. Nothing we can see the you are not changing the slide.
Is it? No, no, it's not slide. I'm on different link. One second. Did I share only PPT? Good, good that you told me. I was under the impression that we are good here. One second, guys. So, can you see my screen again? I reshared it. Can you see my screen? Guys, can
Yes,
you hear me?
yeah, we are seeing
Yes,
the
we can.
PPT now.
Okay. So when I double click, what happened? It opened a hyperlink here. So I was talking about this thing. All right, this is the link. So we take all the curriculum from CNCF Cloud Native Cloud Foundation, which is managed by Linux Foundation. So we do it here. What I was saying is you will be get certified in Kubernetes administration. This is what you will be get certified. I'm really sorry. I was not aware that you are not seeing this screen as well. So this is what you will get. And my complete course is driven from these modules. So we are following the certification track, right? For Kubernetes and Docker, we are following certification track. Even for Docker also, I'm following certification track. So in a way, we are preparing you for certified as a certified professional, right? You will write exam and all that thing. This certification is not part of the course. You have to buy separately. All certification cost is separate. You have to directly pay to the vendor and get the subscription, right? So this is how this is the price of Kubernetes certification, which is 400, approximately 400 USD, right? And this is what I was explaining, what all things it will come, right? So this is what I was explaining, right? All the certificates are online, which I was saying. The duration of certificate is 2 hours, right? Earlier it used to be 3 hours, but they reduced to 2 hours. They reduced the few complexity, and now it is very easy, right? When I got certified in as a CKA, it was 3 hours and slightly tough, right? This certificate is valid for 2 hours because they feel, right, the technology will change, right? It cannot be constant, right? So you should upgrade it, right? It's not just to take the money again and again from you every 2 years, not like that, but they have, right, that they think that the certificate is not valid for throughout, the technology will change. When the technology will change, you should also upgrade it, right? So upskilling is always needed, right? So once you take this thing, it is valid for 12 months, right? So it is valid for 12 months, and one retake is free. That means it comes with 1 plus 1, right? So there are two chances, right? So if you lose the first chance, no, don't worry, you will get another one. Retake is free, absolutely free. You need not to pay again and again 400 USD, right? And this USD, don't worry about it. I will share with some promo code and some voucher code and all that thing, so that you will get some offer price here. All right, so all the certificates are nowadays digital. So you'll get a PDF file, badge will be there. You can attach this badge, put this as a logo on your CV and all that thing, and float your resume, upload your resume on a portal, a job portal, wherever you want to look for a job or you want to do upskill. All that you can use it here. Right, this is the latest version of Kubernetes, which is version 1.30. All right, this is the version which, right, we will be doing with this version, latest version. As I said, these are the minor version. Base version is still 1, v1, right? v1 is base version is still 1, right? They have not changed the version to version 2 or version 3. We are still at the version 1, right? The minor version, it is 3, so we call 1.30, right? I was talking about this thing, right? Purely this certificate is not objective based, it is performance based, right? So scenario based questions would be asked and lab access would be given. You have to go and perform in the lab and make that application into a running mode, right? Once you make that application into running mode, that means your question is correct, right? You got the output, right? You should get an output. That is what the performance based thing. So this is what will be their thing, right? To prepare the exam, they also give exam simulator. They give you exams. Can you please go mute, please? So exam simulator, which will prepare you for the lab based and all that thing. Still background noise is there. All right, so the exam simulator and all that will be there. So exam simulator will help you to prepare you for exam, right? So they have lab questions, clock is ticking, as good as, right? They simulate it in such a way that as good as you are writing an exam, right? And you can go for multiple number of times, right? There's no limit that only 1 or 2 times you can take simulator, right? It's absolutely free for 1 year, right? So practice more and more. We don't need any additional resources. Only this resource is good enough to get certified in Kubernetes, right? Anyhow, I'll be deep diving. I'll be explaining you how to load exam and all that and how to access it and all that thing, right? But everything is structured. What I mean to say, everything is structured, and that is how we are going to do this thing, right? And this is the basically our thing, how we will be get certified. So basically, these are the 5 hardcore modules, right? And they have given the weightage in terms of percentage, right? Storage 10%, so there will be short one question will be there. Troubleshooting, there will be 3 questions, so 30%, right? Workload and scheduling, right? There would be all again 2 questions, right? So workload and scheduling and how to do the 15%, right? Cluster architecture, installation, configuration, right? So CK is all about setting up the environment from the scratch, right? So we'll be doing the installation, we'll be doing the installation of Kubernetes, creating a full platform of Kubernetes on multiple machines as a cluster based machine. Cluster means collection of machines, right? So we need a cluster based environment. Cluster means collection of machines, and Kubernetes we will install on that, so we'll have our own environment. All right, so this is how we will be creating it. So we'll understand architecture, installation, config, all that thing. So 25% weightage is given here, right? And services and networking, right? Again, 20%. So everything is here. So let me begin from here. So I was talking about the storage, right? So storage, so the storage class is basically vendor specific, right? Which vendor and all that thing. And then persistence volume. Persistent volume is basically permanent. Persistent means permanent, right? So permanent volume. So storage is we call by another name called volume. Volume is nothing but storage thing only. So here we will be how my data will be kept in this storage, right? What security, right? How my application will read the data back and forth, right? Read and write operations, all that thing, right? So how the transaction will happen back end with this storage, my application will do all the transactions. So we will do all that thing, right? So we'll be configuring, we will be doing all that thing. So once you understand the thing, the storage, they come with their own mode. There are various types of mode which we will set, right? For security side, we will set all these mode, and then we'll also enable the access mode. What kind of access you need, right? If my data is critical and no one should modify, no one should delete, no one should edit, right? So we will set as read only, right? There are something where we want to give access read and write also. So all that thing we will access it here, and we will set the access mode, right? What type of access is needed to access this data, right? Is it read only good enough, or we need read and write, or my application itself is generating data during runtime? All that, and based on use cases, we will enable the thing, right? Access mode. Then we will also set up some policies also, right? Now in cyber security and all that thing, right? So in any environment, right, to safeguard the environment, we should always enforce our policies, basically to harden our environment. So here also, storage where my data would be lying, right? So we'll also enforce some policies so that we can always, my data should be intact, right? My data should be intact, and if anything is happened, right, any other invalid or somebody is trying to access, right, we'll enforce the policies here. So this is controlled by that thing. Then understand policy, claim primitives, and how thing, right? So how from the user side, right? So configuration side we have already done, but while accessing this data, right, who will access what, right? So we will always set the claim primitives and all that thing, right? Based on that, the claim will be, a claim is nothing but a request, right? In a simple word, claims are nothing but a request. So we'll set the all request primitive accordingly. My data will be accessed by my application. So we'll set all that thing here, and then we'll also do something extra, right? Troubleshooting. So know-how, right? How to do, first we have the understanding of know-how, then how to configure the application, and then to access my data which is there on this persistent storage, right? That is my permanent storage. Persistent means permanent. So how we can configure and how my data will be access my application, right, on the Kubernetes platform. So all that we'll understand over here, right? So there will be sure one question on this part. Troubleshooting is as a whole, right? As a whole, right? So as a whole, troubleshooting you should know. Anyhow, we'll be building this capability, right, which will help you not only for exam, but when you are go live with your projects, right, when you are working with the clients, that time also, right? So what are the things? There are so many things. Where to check events, where to check what happened, what transaction, what are the logs, where my logs, right? All that, where are my services running, microwave services, right? How the access has been done from between front and back end, or even middle tier layer. If you have three tier architecture, all that will be building our capability for troubleshooting. So don't worry about it, right? So here, right from the cluster, right? So from the cluster, how to check cluster logs and all that thing. So we'll be building our capability, and we will check, we will deep dive and understand, because this is our the hardcore area, right? As of now, it's going to be, right, not that strong, but very soon this would be our gray area where we will do a lot of troubleshooting, right? Since it's a platform, so we should be aware. So it's a cluster wide, right? So cluster wide, and then node are nothing but the multiple machines on which my Kubernetes is running, on which my applications would be running. All that we will be understanding, and we'll understand how to collect the logs from the resource, CPU side, memory side, application side, right, infrastructure side, platform side, all kind of thing end to end. All right, we'll be building our knowledge here, right? And then once we do, again we'll have our understand about the monitoring. All right. So far, in the traditional model, monitoring was given a very less weightage. We never particular about monitoring, but nowadays, tool itself is coming with so many monitoring things. So Kubernetes has its own monitoring layer in its architecture. Once I explain you the architecture, the monitoring layer is inbuilt. Everything Kubernetes is going to take care, right? We need not to worry about anything. Everything, the whole headache is taken by Kubernetes itself, right? So this guy will be giving you me monitoring capability, whether I'm monitoring or not. Kubernetes will be monitoring it in the background, right? So all that thing we will be having the capabilities at application level as well, not only at Kubernetes side, but what are application I would be bringing, maybe front end application, back end application, or huge database application, or AI application, or any kind of application, heavy industrial application which are running through, right, on edge with a lot of sensitive data is collected through sensors, and then it is processed through vector database or any other thing. Will be having a complete monitoring layer as well, even for applications. All right, so this is again interesting feature, right? Normally troubleshooting without monitoring, we can't do troubleshooting, right? So it's an additional layer in Kubernetes which will help me, which will give me an edge for monitoring, right? Manage container standard input output and standard error logs, right? So here we will see what error code, right, what error, what these logs are referring to, what things, how we can troubleshoot. Because error is my the first thing where I will be doing my analytics, right? I will go and do analyze these logs. Once I do my analysis using by viewing these logs, right, I will come to know what action needs to be done, right, in order to fix the issue, or in order to get my application running, right? We will be doing things. So here we'll deep dive at a container level, right, where my applications are running inside the container, right? And then whatever the logs are there, maybe output logs, input logs, whatever, right? We will deep dive over here. Then troubleshoot application failure, right? So we basically it's a one there's one liner item, but it's very big, right? The meaning is very big, right? So here we will deep dive, right? Why my application is failing, right? Is it because of the resources? Is it because of the compute power? Is it because of the application configuration? Is it because of the application monitoring? Is it because of application integration? All that we will understand over here. All right. So once we Kubernetes is a platform, right? It's a bare metal platform. We need to onboard applications, right? So anyhow, we'll be having a lot of application, right? Front tier, two tier, backend, all that application, right? This is always be handy, right? It will always be in hand. The first thing will be always looking at the application failure and then start digging out the information through the logs, events, right? All that thing will be capturing the things, and then we'll do troubleshooting and then troubleshoot the cluster component, right? So application is fine. What about my cluster itself? Right? Kubernetes cluster has so many components. It has monitoring layer, it has self-healing capability, right? It is doing a lot of a health check probe, right? All that thing, right? Resources monitoring, my CPU, memory, my storage, all that thing, networking. So here there are a lot of components which will monitor, right? Kubernetes has many resources. Each resources will be monitoring a particular resource. So I have storage, then there will be some monitoring for storage. I have networking, so there is something for networking. So all these components they will play their own role. That each will be controlling a particular role, maybe networking, storage, right, cluster, node, the machine itself, application side, container, pod, all that thing. So here we will see various components. I'll talk about the components more in the architecture, right? It's a very simplified architecture, right? We will talk more on that. And then why it is failing. Kubernetes does its own health check, right? It does all the components will be monitored by Kubernetes. So I will tell you, right, which component fails and then where to go, how to check, how to repair, how to heal it, and how to bring it back, right? So all that we'll understand over here. Troubleshooting networking, right? Networking sounds to be a very vast field, right? Networking is very vast, right? If you go even a corporate houses, you must have experienced that people developer they don't know networking people they don't know how the product is being built. All right, networking is very vast, but in Kubernetes doesn't trust anyone, right? That is why it maintains its own networking also. It doesn't trust, right? Whether you have a Cisco or a foolproof networking, it doesn't trust. It will always lay down its own networking on top of it. You will have your networking, that's fine. Could say I cannot trust. I will have my layer of networking also, so that I will be monitoring the whole network. Right? Kubernetes is so powerful. So that way we will be also touching the networking part, and it's very simplified. Don't worry about it. Right? So everything is automatic here. Right? So we don't do any manual configuration. Everything will be automated. When I will be setting up the environment Kubernetes, I will be setting up from the scratch. So I will be covering more things in this thing, right? We have to set up our own cluster. We will not going to use any ready-made cluster. Maybe Azure Kubernetes cluster, Amazon, no. I'll be building my own cluster on bare metal. All right. So from the scratch. So we will troubleshoot talk more about it. All right. So there's a huge weightage here. Similarly, the scheduling and workloads. Workloads are nothing but my application, right? Workloads, right? Application load, right? So this is where, right? So my payload will come, right? As soon as my application is exposed into Kubernetes platform. So here, how my application will be deployed. So we'll have complete end-to-end how my application will be deployed, how to do a rolling update, right? So my application, my development is a agile, right? Agility we are following, right? All these projects are now controlled by agile frameworks, right? Agile methodologies, right? Not the waterfall model. So my development is sprint by sprint. They are developing some features, right? I will be constantly upgrading my environment also. I cannot run on the older version, right? The development team has already released the new version, right? Last time they released 1.0, 1.0 version. Now they have released 2.0. I need to upgrade it, right? So here Kubernetes has its own capability called rolling update. Here I'll be managing my deployment, upgrades, all that thing without bringing my environment down. So absolutely with zero shutdown, with zero downtime, right? I will upgrade my application on the fly, on the go. All right, how Kubernetes has various services, right? We'll be using those services whenever we want to upgrade it, right? So here we will deep dive, and I have all the use cases, production use cases, real-time use cases, which I'm going to discuss, right? So don't worry about it, right? So it will be all foolproof for you guys, right? I'm not expecting anything that this is the prerequisite for my Kubernetes and Docker course. Nothing, zero. I'm not expecting anything as a prerequisite, whether you are coming from testing, sales, pre-sales, or hardcore developer, or admin, or cloud admin background, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. right? I have no prerequisite. Everything on the fly, on the go, I will be teaching you. If you don't have any Linux knowledge also, that also I will be teaching you. Don't worry about it. Monitoring, right, or containers, you have no background, doesn't matter, right? Everything is on me, right? Not we are not expecting anything from you. Plus whatever money time we are spending, we are preparing for certification. That is why I'm discussing all the things what we are going to do, right from the certification track, right? Because once we are spending money and time, we should get the value, and the value is this: we are preparing for certifications. All right, so config management and secrets, right? So this is how traditionally we used to maintain our hardcore configurations, application password, right? My user information. Let's say my front end wants to connect to backend, so I should know what, right? Backend the database, nobody can access just like that. We always need credentials, right? We always need tokens too, right? Maybe encrypted tokens, right? So where I can log into my database. Otherwise, if I keep it open, anybody can come and steal my data. So we never do that. So here, all the configurations, right? The short form is config map. So we do all configuration mapping here in Kubernetes directly by using Kubernetes properties, which we call as a config map and secret. Secrets are nothing but my username, password, connection string, database string, port number, all that thing we encrypt it. So here I'll tell you how the encryption happens in Kubernetes. Kubernetes by default comes with an encryption layer. So encryption decryption, here we will see whenever give an encrypted username, encrypted password, Kubernetes on the fly, on the go, it will decrypt it and it will directly connect to my database. Right? So anything. So I'll take few example here, MongoDB and all that thing. Don't worry about it. Not only the SQL database and all that thing, but we'll take NoSQL database also into our examples, right, in our projects. So all that we'll be doing it here. So here I'll show you how to do configuration. I'll take few use cases also, right? So to deep dive and to touch upon and to make you powerful, to empower you that how going forward you'll be using all the confidential your username, password as a secrets, right? And these are all, and nobody can steal my credentials, right? It is basically hidden. Kubernetes stores in its database. Kubernetes has its own database, and everything will be in its database. Nobody even can open the files, right? We never put all the sensitive information, username, password on our flat files, right? Kubernetes doesn't trust, right? Since it doesn't trust, so it will everything will be in the database of Kubernetes. Right? How to do that, I'll be teaching you. Then know how to scale the application. This is purely performance based, right? Earlier we used to do performance testing, right? 5,000 users, 50,000 users, 1 million users, and we used to do testing, right? What if the 1 million user, if it exceeds 1 million users, my application will fail, right? People will not be able to access the application, right? But Kubernetes has all the use cases, right? That is how it has been built, right? It covers all the use case. So here, my application will automatically scale. As and when traffic increases, right, application will start scaling up automatically. So there is a monitoring capability. Who will be monitoring? What is the peak load? Okay, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then blow off, right? Application will go down forever because it's already blow off, right? It blow off because people were accessing more than 100%. So Kubernetes doesn't do in that way. So here, right, so it will never ever glue off, right? We will be controlling the application, right? So all the thing will be doing, and as and when need, my application will be scaled. I'm not saying about the platform, I'm saying about applications. Platform is the backbone. Then what will be running? I'll be running my applications. So here, right, all our application will be scaled automatically. How? That I'll show you, right? So how Kubernetes maintain the resources dynamically, right? Not static but dynamically. So I will show you all that thing with few use cases. And then there are few primitives which we'll use to create a self-healing of application, right? Middle of night, nobody's there in the office, my application is running 24 by 7 and it's a banking application, right? I cannot deploy the people, right? I don't know, right? Some people, right, they were there's one guy, right, we put him on night shift. This guy say because of the change in pattern, I have a habit to sleep in during the day, during the night. I cannot keep awake whole night myself because I don't have a habit. And the moment we put him on the night shift, he'll be sleeping 4 hours, right? And the application has gone down, only after 4 hours you'll come to know. So we cannot trust. Kubernetes doesn't trust anyone. So Kubernetes maintain its own thing, so it will heal the application on its own, right? What are the resources, what are the components who will be healing the application? So all these things, Kubernetes designed with all the modern idea, right? I would say they have. I've been discussing innovation, but the real innovation I'm seeing the tools like Kubernetes. Real innovation has happened, right? Healing and all these application I have nowhere I have seen before Kubernetes. Only by theoretically, verbally, we used to say innovation we are doing R&D, we are doing innovation, but now at the two level, we have all the features enabled for us. So we'll deep dive and we'll be doing all that thing, right? Self-healing and all that thing. Understand again how the resource limits affect the pod scheduling, right? When my application is scheduled on so and so machine, right? Who will take decision that okay, which machine is available, right? I want to deploy a new application, where it should go, right? Machine 1, 2, 3 already busy because I deployed previously some applications are running, right? I want to deploy another application, where it should go, who will give me that decision capability, right? I may take a wrong decision, and as I said, Kubernetes doesn't trust me, doesn't trust anyone, right? So Kubernetes is its own thing where the scheduling is very powerful. The scheduler maintains the inventory of my resources, my machine, current, what is the status of current status of node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. Node means machines, right? In Kubernetes, we don't say machine, we say node, right? It's a sample, it's a synonym word. We say we replace machine by a new word called node. All right, so node 1 is busy, node 2 is busy, node 3 is available, what percentage it is available. Node 4 is only 10% traffic is there, 90% is available. Kubernetes maintain its own matrices, right? They maintain the metrics, and looking at the matrix, Kubernetes will automatically give me, okay, this should go to the node 4. All right, so all that we will understand how we can do pod scheduling based on the resources. I can even set the resources thing, okay, CPU should not go more than 60%. CPU should not go more than 80%. That means it will never ever go to 90 or 100 and then blow off. It will never happen, right? So it will never happen. It will stick to 80%, start sending me warning, and Kubernetes will, right, never send the traffic to that node because once 80% it reaches the threshold, it will look for another node, right? All that thing we will understand, right? Since it's a platform. Awareness of manifest management, confer templating tools. Kubernetes comes with ready-made templates, right? No coding needed. That everything is templatized for you. That means ready-made templates are there. Let's set the properties on those templates and you are done. All right. So this technique we call manifest management, right? How you are going to manifest, where are your parameters you are bringing, how you will manifest so that Kubernetes can understand, so that Kubernetes can pick up. Kubernetes engine will read all your parameters from there and start your application, right? So they are ready-made templates, right? All that we do, right? Now this technique is followed across all the modern tools, whether it's a Docker, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, right? Any tool, right? Even Terraform, right? Infrastructure side, right? Infrastructure as a code, everything we are doing through templatized only, right? So YAML, which is developed by Google, we call Golang, right? Golang because since it is developed by Google, right? And we are blessed that this tool is also developed by Google, and Google is not charging not even a single penny, right? So I will be teaching you on the fly, on the go this template thing, and I will be teaching you how to write your own deployment scripts, how to manifest it, right? What all things you should keep in mind, what is the framework, all that I will be teaching. So don't worry about it, and then we will take it up, and it would be a common practice, right, across multiple tools, not only Kubernetes. All right. Then I'll talk about architecture. Here you see installation configuration. So I'll be doing all the installation, creating the Kubernetes environment for us, right? So we'll be setting up the environment, and then this environment will be giving the role-based access, right? Whether it's a developer, right? Why should he need an admin access? Whether it's a tester, what access he needs, right? Whether it's a support guy, right? So here, and who will do the admin task and all that thing, right? All our project Kubernetes, we have multiple projects, right? Which project is managed by whom, all that we can even assign some roles. So I will talk more about role. We call RBAC access, role based access control. All right, so here we will talk all about that thing. All right, even at the application level, right? Who can start the application but they cannot delete it. They can start my container, they can start the pod, but they cannot delete it, right? I can do full control by enabling or disabling this thing. So here we will have all the use cases, how to enable what role, right? Which team, what project, at what project level, what application level, what container level, all that thing I'll be doing it. All right. Sorry. Then we'll be doing the Kubernetes installation, right? So setting up the cluster, basic cluster, and we'll be not doing anything. We'll be using Kube admin, right? Kube ADM, right? Kube ADM basically is a universal installer. You can set up Kubernetes environment on bare metal. You can set up on any cloud, maybe Azure cloud, AWS cloud, Oracle cloud, IBM cloud, right? Any cloud, Google cloud, any cloud, you name it, right? We can install Kubernetes, even Alibaba cloud also. I've tried on that also, right? So we can install. Cube ADM used to be an universal, but here we'll be doing on bare metal. That means in your exam, they'll not ask you third-party vendor related question that, okay, this question from Azure cloud or this question from AWS or this is from Google cloud or IBM cloud or Oracle cloud or so and so, blah, blah. No, right? Only the bare metal thing But bare metal, remember, it's a universal installer. I can set it up on any cloud, right? There are just the steps, right? The way of installation is different, right? Here and there, one step here and one step there. That's it, right? So once you have bare metal thing, that means you are building from the scratch, no ready-made. If I go to Azure, Azure will they are big vendor, right? They always think the money should come, right? So as soon as I start any service, right, the clock is ticking, right? Pay as you go model will be activated, and I have to pay. Okay, whatever service I have taken, I have to pay. So here nothing is there. In the exam also, they will not ask any vendor related questions. So everything will be right from within the bare metal, which we call cube ADM. Cube ADM we call basically bare metal, and it's a universal installer. It will fit all sizes T-shirts. All right, something like that. All right, manage a high availability Kubernetes cluster, right? How to manage, right? Highly available environment, production environment, we call HA, high availability, right? Or high available environment, we call production environment. Kubernetes also come where I can spin up multiple Kubernetes cluster and create a replica in different zone. Right? One instance is running in US, another is running UK, one is running in Singapore. If anything collapse, right, in US, right, I need not to worry. Right? If somebody is right, the White House is collapsed, right, we already have an incident happened in the past, right, my infrastructure will be intact in somewhere else, right, so we can always have a right the parallel infrastructure. That is what we call high availability. Kubernetes also have the high availability HA capability. There are so many things inside Kubernetes which will be doing it, right. Here are the things in Kubernetes. Provision underlying infrastructure. What all things are needed for my Kubernetes cluster to be deployed, right? So here I will be talking about all the things. What is CPU memory, right? Dynamic allocation of CPU memory, application scaling up, all scaling down, scaling up, all that thing will touch even the infrastructure part, right? So we'll be doing that part also. Perform version upgrade in future, right? So Kubernetes will be upgraded from not on 1.30, they upgrade from 1.31 also. How will you upgrade it? So I'll be showing you, I'll be teaching you that how to upgrade on the fly, on the go, right? But there is some strategy in place. You should plan in that way, that not on during the peak hours, right? Right, during the slog hours you have to plan, right? But how to upgrade that also will have the use case, and I'll be upgrading the cluster 2-3 times so that you guys will be comfortable. And sure, there will be one question in the exam. What type of question that I'll be discussing when I'll be showing you all that thing. We'll do practical hands on it. All right, so we'll do that. Implement the backup. etcd is Kubernetes inbuilt database, right? We call etcd, right? So this is the database, and where we'll be backing up this database so that in the event of failure even we can do restoration, right? And there's a short question from etcd backup and restoration in the exam also, right? So I'll teach you, right, how to handle that kind of question. So I'll be taking that use case, I'll be taking backup, I'll show you all the backup, we'll do restoration from the backup, all that we'll do, so my environment will be foolproof. All right, this is what we'll be doing it over here again. And then I'll let me touch quickly on the services and network. All right, so 20% weightage is given here. Here we will understand the networking config. Don't worry about it, right? It's a very easy thing. Everything is automated. Only thing we should have some understanding of some concept, which I'll be covering that part. And I will be dealing with networking every day because I'll be setting up the cluster every day. I'll not keep the cluster, same cluster throughout our one month whenever we finish this course, right? So I will be using the same lab. No, I'll be setting up the every day. Initially, first day it will take 1 hour because I'll be explaining you, giving a lot of information. Next day it's just a 10 minutes. Then third day it will just a 5 minutes to set up the cluster. So here I'll be setting up the cluster networking, all that thing, cluster nodes and all that thing we'll be doing. And anyhow, you will be also learning from me. I'll be teaching you all that thing. Then how the application will be connected, right? If my pod is dependent on other front-end applications running on one pod, right? Pods are nothing but containers, right? In Kubernetes, we don't say pod, we don't say containers, we say pod, because people are confused. When I say container, people start correlating with Docker. When I say Docker, people think I'm talking about container. So container is Docker, Docker is container, and where Kubernetes will come into the picture. So Kubernetes, they have a different terminal. They say pod. So pod is nothing but, eventually it is nothing but container only, right? I'll be talking more about those things, right? So what is the difference? What is this do? What is the pod is doing and all that thing. So don't worry about it. So the connection between my application which are running as a pod, right? That means it's running as a container. Front end is running in one container, back end is running in another container. You may have a middle tier which is running in another container. How the connection will happen so that my full stack of application can be built. Full stack application can be built, which we will talk over here. And then there are micro-based services which we will be dealing with. I will be teaching you, right? So to give an example, there's a cluster IP service, then node port service, load balancer service, right? for endpoints. So these all are the services which we will be dealing with it, and every service player there its own role. Cluster IP means it's an inbuilt cluster-wide service which is running across the cluster. Node port means if my application is running on particular node and somebody wants to access, right? So it should be accessed only from that node, right? I should not give the whole cluster access. No, my application is running there, right? The traffic will go to that node and it will be accessed from that node, right? So this will have, and load balancing. Kubernetes, right? Who will manage the traffic? Right? Kubernetes has its own load balancer service, which will managing the load balancing automatically. Right? It will route the traffic. My node is already 60%, 70%. I put a threshold of 80%. Right? The moment it reaches 80%, the traffic will route it to the another node. If that node also reaches to 80%, the traffic will route it to another. Who will do that? I cannot do that. Right? Because I never know when the traffic is going to come. Nobody will give me a phone call that, hey, I'm sending traffic today so much because we have given the salary, employees will be doing shopping, this, that, bank transactions, and traffic will increase, right? So nobody is going to give me a phone call. Then how would I know, right? So through these services, so we have our services in place, and the Kubernetes services will do all the magical, all the wonders for us. All right, then the know-how, we will practice ingress and ingress resources. Ingress is basically whenever you build a new application, right? You write some rules, right? How the traffic will be routed based on what? Based on URL, port number, right? What, right? So we always do. If you see it, www.amazon.com/men/women/mobiles/laptops. So that means it will directly go to that section, right? So that means there are some rules we have to rewrite, and based on the rules, I can manage the traffic. And ingress is the guy who will manage the outside traffic, right? Hitting my inside cluster, right? Where my application is running. So we'll do all that thing. So don't worry about it. I will be now deep dive with that thing with covering all the use cases, practical hands-on thing, right? So all that thing will be covered. And then Kubernetes comes with own DNS, right? If somebody is giving with the URL www.prashant.com, right? But who will resolve this name, right? So the traffic can go to particular IP address or particular application IP address, right? So DNS will basically domain name registration service, right? So this service, right? So this service will resolve all the things, right? Fully qualified domain name will be resolved by DNS. Kubernetes has its own DNS, so don't worry about it. We will be talking and we'll be using this DNS. The way when we set up our cluster, this guy will also be there as a Kubernetes component, right? As an add-on. Then choose an appropriate container network and interface login, plugin, and all that thing, right? So there are various plugins which are needed, right? Nowadays, everything is happening, all configuration happens to plugins, right? Plugins, they have their template as thing, right? You have to give appropriate key value pairs and all that thing. So Kubernetes also has network plugins, right? Because your company may not be using Cisco, they may be using Juniper, right? We are using Amazon, somebody is using something, right? So all the plugins are available. Kubernetes supports all kind of networking. All right, this is how the course is about Kubernetes. All right, then just I'll take another few minutes to jump on to other thing. Similarly, CKAD, right? Let me open the CKAD quickly. Come on, we don't have time. Okay, certified Kubernetes application developer. As I said, it's for developers course, right? So same thing, $400 USD approximately, right? And then online course. This is bundle price, which they give course and trainings and all that thing, right? So they share the video to complete the course on your own, plus the exam voucher. So they've increased the fees, so they'll charge you an additional 200 USD, and they give you, so it's a bundle price. But if you have doubts, right, you don't understand the topic, right, then you will get stuck, right? Because they give you recorded videos and all that thing as a self-learning L&D portal, right? So all right, so this also, right, which I have already explained, right? So similar to CKA, CKD is also like that, right? So exam is online, then exam duration is 2 hours, valid for 2 years. The exam subscription is valid for 12 months. One retake is free. PDF, digital certificate, PDF file, and digital badge will be given. Version is 1.30. Perform based, again, scenario based question will be asked. Simulator is given, right? So if you see here, right, let me quickly run through. I'll not spend much time. So it's basically how the application you design, keeping Kubernetes in mind. You should design that. You should know what you are designing. So that is how it's all about. Build your profile, right? If you're coming from a development background, you should know what all things you should define while creating your application as your Kubernetes microservice based or Kubernetes container, right? So how you build your images, you should have the development thought process here, keeping Kubernetes in mind. So it is all about that, right? So here, how to do that, right? How the resource deployment, daemon set, and cron job, and all that thing, right? If you want to, cron job are nothing but the scheduled task. You want to schedule some task, we do through cron job, right? Cron job are nothing but we schedule it, and the scheduler will trigger the task and it will be done, right? So this is how we do. So you should have all the things in mind how your application will be deployed, right? Daemon set I'll talk more in detail. Basically, it's a part of CK also, where I'll be doing daemon set. Daemon set means your application mandatorily should run on every node, right? That time we give the daemon set, right? And then understand multiple container. Yeah, you may have your application, right? Maybe front end, back end, right? That means you have an application, multi-container application, right? So what all patterns, design patterns you should keep in mind, right? Is your application dependent on some other application than you? We call it a sidecar. Sidecar means a scooter, and I have a sidecar so that one person can also sit, but wherever I go, he will be accompanied, right? So you see, basically, it's a three-wheel scooter now, right? So sidecar means the guy also can sit. It's basically attached to my scooter only with one more additional wheel, and it will be do. So my application also has a front end. It needs some other thing, maybe monitoring application, maybe database application, maybe some managing the inventory log, all that thing, right? So you should know how to design that application, keeping Kubernetes in mind. So Kubernetes has its own design patterns, right? So if you touch those patterns, you will start building your application. You can design your application using those things into consideration as an application developer. Then utilize your storage, right? So storage, right? So here they'll not ask configuration, they'll say how to utilize it, right? So because CK is a very vast, where you will be right from this creating, putting the data, and then enabling the access mode, who will be accessing what, all that configuration you will do. But here you will not do configuration. Application means they just want to access it, right? So this is what I said. CK is always little bit lightweight. If you do CKA, you can do this thing on your own also. Application deployment, right? So here how you will deploy your application, how your application will you will bring into Kubernetes, right? So we have this application. If you maintain two versions, right? Say my production is running on thing, but I want to test, right? Development already tested in testing team has given the clearance of the new version, upgraded version, but I don't want to push it to production. I want to do a foolproof testing, so we'll do a UAT testing. So UAT will be the recent most version which development team has developed. Production is my the last version which was tested, the rolled out, right? I don't want to disturb that. So I maintain two versions. The upgraded version before rolling it out to production, we call canary or blue green. So blue will be my pre-production version. Green means I want to upgrade it, but before that I want to do a thorough testing, UAT testing, all that thing, right? Testing and UAT testing are different, right? User acceptance testing, UAT, where we onboard the business users, the actual users who are using my application in production. Those users will test this environment, and we take sign off from that. Okay, this is working fine, right? So not all the business people will come onto this UAT environment and start testing. No, few selected people will come and they do end-to-end testing. We take their sign off, right? It's a different process, right? And then only we will roll it out in production. So here Kubernetes maintains, right, in its blue-green environment, right? We call canary also, or blue-green, right? So this is the part of that thing. Basically, there are two environments, and we maintain one version here, one version there in different nodes. Okay, understand deployment and how to perform rolling updates. So as already I discussed in CK, right, how we roll out and upgrade on the fly, on the go, without bringing your environment down. So absolutely with zero downtime, we can upgrade the application Kubernetes, right? So this is how we have. Then Helm packaging manager, all that thing. Earlier the deployment and all that used to be manual, but now we have a package manager. Kubernetes has its own package manager. We call Helm package manager, right? It's basically a templatized thing where we maintain release version, product version, all that thing, right? And automatically we say, okay, this release is deploy. I want to deploy. What all things are there? So we package all the thing, all my deployment files, my deployment scripts, manifest files, service file, all that thing, and then we deploy this package. So as a full stack application deployment, we use this technique Helm, right? And it's very easy. And then observability, right? So it's a part of monitoring, right? Observability means, what is the difference between monitoring and observability? Monitoring means it will monitor and give me log and data. Observability, it will analyze the data, right? What happened, why, right? It will give me, right, how and what is fine, but it will give me why it has happened, right? What steps needs to be taken. So observability will tell me, okay, because of the CPU, or because of the application threshold, or because of the memory leakage, or because of the application traffic, maybe the payload was more, right? So all that it will give me specific, and accordingly the action will be taken. So nowadays algorithms are written where observability will help you to fix the issue, right, on the fly, on the go, right? So it will the one more step ahead on top of monitoring. So here it will do. So a lot of APIs, right? So you need to track while building, right? Even the deprecations, right? Kubernetes, right? Few services specific to which environment, which vendor, which storage you are using. Few APIs you should know which are deprecated, which are not deprecated, right? So just a template. There is a one portal you should go and keep tracking. Kubernetes basically does all through APIs. All right, so that is what it will do. And then health check and probe. Kubernetes has inbuilt health check probe, right? And you will be covering it, right? So this health check probes basically it will every 5 minutes will go and see whether your application is alive or not. If the application seems to be alive, but whether it is handling, whether it is doing the processing, whether it is doing the execution part, whether my application giving me response, all that thing, health probe will check every 5 minutes and they'll send the report saying that okay, this is healthy or not. So we call health probes. Then built-in client CLI tool to monitor application. Monitoring is an inbuilt layer, right? So for application, right, normally for end users, they will be checking, right, application status and all that thing, right? So Kubernetes comes with an inbuilt CLI. You can use those CLI thing while building your application, and your application will be monitored also, and it will send wherever you want. It will send as a metrics, it will send as a log files, wherever you want, however you want, you can design that thing also. Utilize container logs. So this is again a troubleshooting thing, observability thing, where the logs are the key thing, where we will find out why my application not running, what happened, right? So it maintains all the logs, and observability uses those logs, right? It will pinpoint, okay, this error happened because of so and so thing, and it has been already logged in a log file. Open the log file, understand it. What action needs to be done, it will tell you, right? So it will tell you what needs to be done. Then debugging Kubernetes. So it will help, right? So observability monitoring, basically, they will help in debugging, right, to diagnose the error. All right. So this is here, and then few things, because security also you should keep in mind, right, as a developer, right? So discover, use resources and extend Kubernetes CRD, right? So CRD is custom resource, right, definitions, which basically Kubernetes come with lot of plugins. So here we say operators, right, plugins. So where as and when what kind of application you are building, what kind of plugins you need, right? Kubernetes basically has an inbuilt plugins you can incorporate, and you can design or build your solution based on the plugin which you need, right? So based on the huge catalog of libraries, you will be using those things. Understand authentication, authorization, how your application will be login, right? Who will do authentication, how your application will do authorization, right? And who will admit the control to you, right? The access control to you, right? All that things should be programmed, right? When you build the solution, Kubernetes is your own thing, right? You need to plug in all those things as an API and integrate it, right? So you can use all those things, right? LDAP or open, right? All that thing you can use it. Request and limit quotas, and I'll be covering in CK all this thing, how my application, what CPU memory we can set dynamically, what limit it can go up and down, right, as and when the traffic comes, right? So it will automatically do scaling up and scaling down. So basically these are the limits. We can even customize and we can set the limits, right? We have full flexibility, right? So we can do all that thing. And I'll be covering those use cases, example, all that thing. Config map, secrets, right? All that thing will be doing it in CK as well, and here also. And then define the resources. What is the resource required and how to do that? Based on that, we'll create all the config map, secrets, and all that thing. Service account. Service account is basically local admin accounts. Here in cloud, we say service account, right? If any application for config, you need a local admin account, right? Somebody wants to restart the service, he cannot restart the service. He need admin privileges, right? So we create service accounts. Service account for specific role, specific application, specific component. We can create these accounts, right? So for storage, I may have some service account only for storage. I may have service account for to restart only one particular application. So likewise, we can create multiple service accounts. Service account is nothing but local admin account to do some kind of task which needs admin privileges, right? So basically, it's a user account also, right? We call user account, but with an admin privileges. Then application security. So we set some context, right? If you know, right, we enable some mode in Linux, right? Read, write mode, some attributes and all that thing, right? We call it security context. So here anybody can access my application. I can enable only a particular user, then I have to give that ID only, right? So that user ID, so that they can access. I want to restrict others, right? So MongoDB should be accessed by so and so AI application only, not by all the application. So we can set some attributes here. We call security context, that is nothing but a UID, right? So user ID, right? The system itself maintains the UID, and those ID I want to enable, activate, where I want to activate, where I want to disable, with what privileges, which what application, right? It will point to that only. So all that we can do it here. It's just a one command, right? So any UID or any service, Kubernetes has around 8 to 9 uh, service context. You can pick up based on what thing you need, right? And only you just activate it. It will Kubernetes automatically take that thing. All right, and then one more which we call service and networking. It is part of CKA, right? So here also you need services, right? Because services basically give extra security to your application. Your application will not be exposed directly, right? We define through network policies and through services. So here we will be enabling those things, and we will, you should always keep the network policies in mind while building any solution or any application, right? So anyway, I'll be talking very deep in CKA. If you want to pick up and understand, or while designing application, you can even start taking it, right? So here we will do that. Provide troubleshooting access via services, right? So services, anyway, I'll be talking about cluster IP service, load balancer service, noteboard service, and many other services for endpoint, right? All that thing, you can even bring that thing and you can start building the application on your own, right? Kubernetes has that capability. Ingress, I'll be discussing more in detail in CK, right? I'll show you how to write the rules, and while writing your application, you can also set the rules, right? The ingress rules, which we call, all right? All that thing you can do and expose your application based on those rules, right? So this is the technique. And I'll be covering more in CK. This part, right, is very less, but in CK it's very deep, right? There are so many underneath things are also which are not mentioned, but I'll be covering those additional things also. So don't worry about it, right? Our complete end-to-end responsibility is mine, not yours. So we were here on this slide, right? Only this slide, right? And I gave you all the information. What I want to say, we are going to follow certification track. We'll be preparing you for certification. That is what I want to say, right? And the certification on demand and all that thing, right? You already know, right? If you are certified professional, right, you will be picked up, right, from the rest of the crowd, right? So that is the value of these certifications. All right. Now prerequisites. So we'll be doing everything on AWS cloud. All right, so we can set up, will what we do in AWS will not take AWS any services, the free services we will take, right? That means I'll be taking few machines from AWS which are free tier, right? Not going to charge for 1 year. Once you open the account on AWS cloud, 1 year you can use free tier resources. I'll be using free tier, some machines I'll pick up from there for Docker and Kubernetes, both free of thing. And then I'll be setting up Kubernetes cluster on things. So I'll be taking the VM machines from this cloud only, not any service, no Kubernetes service, storage service, monitoring service, nothing. If I take those services, it will start, right, charging me. So we will not take, but we'll be using these resources, right? So our lab will be on cloud. So I will also be teaching you little bit things on AWS cloud as well as a free course with part of Docker and Kubernetes cloud also. If you learn, if you master one cloud, rest of clouds are all same. Few terminals here and there, but if you know how to start machine, stop machine, configure application, load your Kubernetes cluster, if you know all the things, right, it would be very easy to replicate the same knowledge on any other cloud. So this cloud will be your free thing, right, as a free gift, right, or as a bonus. So we'll be creating multi-node cluster on AWS, all that thing, Kubernetes, right? So once 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM, right? 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, all that thing, right? So all these worker node, all thing. Mostly Linux and Ubuntu, these are the corporate favorite, right? So for enterprise or production environment, we always go with Linux, right? Kubernetes was also built from Linux, right? Now we have a Windows flavor, but nobody likes it. So many hiccups are there, and Kubernetes, Windows, they push the upgrades and all that thing as and when they want to do it, because Microsoft controls that and all that thing, right? So we do all that thing. But nowadays, even Azure, which is coming from Kubernetes, right? Azure Cloud, which is Kubernetes, but in the background they run all the Linux and all that thing, right? So I'll be teaching you Linux also. If you don't know, don't worry about it. This is again a second bonus, which I'll be teaching you Linux, Ubuntu, all that thing about you, right? Don't worry about it. Ubuntu is just a flavor, and a new secured flavor which comes with a lot of security, lot of user mode, user friendly, right? It's a Linux flavor only, right? So we'll be teaching you that also, and it will be your user profile. All right, so we'll be setting up the lab, and I'll be doing this lab setup and all that thing again and again, not just one time and then I'll be using throughout the course. It is not the case. I'll be doing it, you will be seeing it, I'll share the all the steps. You'll be creating your own labs, right? Only 1 and 2 times, then we will do all hands on thing, right? So everything is on cloud. So cloud will also be teaching you, Right now we are coming to Q&A. Before that Q&A, let me go to Docker quickly. All right, Docker also I will follow the DCA, right? So which is the Docker Certified Associate track. So here also I'll be preparing you for certification. All right. So Docker, as I said, Kubernetes is dependent on Docker. It cannot create container on its own, right? So we'll be starting the batch with the Docker course first. So we'll have a complete thing, right? What is a Docker platform? How to build image? How to bring microservice-based architecture application? What is microservice-based architecture? How to start application in the container, right? I am not expecting anything from you guys. No prerequisites from you. Absolutely zero, and I'll be giving you all the information. I'll be building your foundation. I'll be building your fundamentals. I'll be taking you from your basic fundamental to your advanced level, right? I'll be taking you to that journey, right? So that journey is I'll be taking you from basic fundamental, building your foundation, and I'll be taking you from your basics to advanced. That is on me. So here we will understand what is Docker and Linux container technology. Then we have been hearing in market CI/CD pipeline, what is continuous integration, continuous delivery, and all that thing. So I'll be teaching you all that thing. Then why DevOps, right? Why DevOps is making a boom, right, in the market? Why, right? Everybody is talking about DevOps, right? What is about it? Why it is making a huge buzz in the market, right? What is the buzz is all about? So here we will see what is DevOps lifecycle, VM containers, right? Docker architecture, Docker registry, right? I'll be talking about the complete architecture here. All right, don't worry about it. As I said, no prerequisites, no expectation from you guys. I'll be building from the scratch. All right, so I'll be giving you all the knowledge. We know VMs, right? Virtual management, virtualization, right? Now the new thing which we call containerization or Dockerization, right? So what is the difference and all that thing? I'll be doing it, right? Don't worry about it. So it's a structured course, and I'm doing it from last 4 5 years. So don't worry about it. Everything is well planned for you guys. Docker installation on Linux servers. Here I'll be teaching you Linux, and then I'll be doing the installation, right? And everything is in hands-on, right? So don't worry about it. And we'll talk CentOS, Ubuntu, which are the flavors of Linux. I'll be teaching you Linux also as a bonus, and don't worry about it. And then Docker Hub account creation, so that we can push the images, we can download the images, we can manage our huge container images. It's inside the Docker itself as a repository, right? Basically, it's a repository for container images, right? So we'll be doing all that thing. Then Docker comes with a CLI, right? Command line. So I'll be teaching you the commands, giving you all the things, which action needs to be done by what command, right? I'll be teaching you everything, and then we'll do hands-on thing, right? I'll give you a few projects also, so that you guys can also, right, build the knowledge parallelly with real-time assignments and projects and all that thing, right? So it's completely hands-on thing. So hands-on will start from here onwards, right? From Docker to Kubernetes, everything will be hands-on, right? And even the exam also, it will be hands-on lab, right, where you have to perform and then clear the exam. It's like that. All right, so everything is well structured. Then I'll talk about how the actions are done, right, being done in the background, right? How the actions being done in the background through the layers, right? Right, whether the action related to images, containers, right? Let me put a pointer here, right? So images, action related to images, container, right? And all the applications should always be lightweight. That is the crux. That is the main thing why we go ahead with the architecture, something called microservice based architecture, right? Because of the lightweight thing. So I would be building the application, and it will be always as a lightweight. How? We will understand the architecture, then we will have some hands-on thing, and I'll be showing you all that thing. And then from once we have the basic fundamental from here to here, I'll be taking the journey to advanced level. All right, I'll be building it to advanced level, where we will do all the things. We will be building the Docker images, we'll do Docker commit, and once we do, we will roll out the images, and then we'll push the images to registry server, public repositories, private repositories. All that we'll be doing it here. And then I will start how to build the applications, right? Once you gain the knowledge, right, you will be start building the application in a real-time scenario. All right, all the real-time applications, right? So here I will take one example from Python, Java, .NET, Node.js, all that thing, one. I'll be touching all the application flavors, so that we can build your foundation strongly from basics to advanced level. Tomorrow you are dealing with Java application, tomorrow dealing with Python-based application or any front-end, right? Maybe Node.js or any Angular or anything, you should be capable to handle that. Right? So you'll be doing that. Then storage thing comes, right? We call volumes. The storage is called volume. So here we'll be dealing with data, right? How my data will be stored, how my data will be securely accessed by my application, right? What kind of things needed to bring the data, and how the IO operation, input output operations transaction will be handled. All that will be doing it here, right? And I will give you some production use cases, right? If you want to have your CI/CD pipeline, through that also you can access the data, right? Maybe Jenkins job and all that thing, we'll be doing it over here, deployment on the other thing. Then Docker networking, right? Networking is essentially a parallel component which always run with you, right? You have a car, right? When you run the car with your front wheel, your back, your rear wheel also will be running with you, right? So this is also networking will always come hand in hand, right? Wherever we go, this will be there because we are on a modern platform, right? Modern application platform, and all this networking will be there. So we'll be building a foundation here also. And as I said, don't worry about it, right? Everything is on me, and it will be very easy for you guys to digest. I will have a separate sessions on networking, so don't worry about it. Right, one session, right, to deep dive on that thing. Docker Compose is basically an automation framework which comes on top of Docker Engine as an additional layer called automation layer. And here we will be start deploying application using microservice based architecture, right? And I'll be automating use through YAML templates, right? Yet another markup language. This is what we call Golang, right? Yet another markup language, right? And here we'll be using all the things, and here you will have a fully hands-on experience, right, in Docker Compose. I have few projects which will I'll assign, and then I'll also take those project with you. If you have any doubts, I will be doing all the things in the lab and all that thing, right? One project every day, so that you can also build the knowledge with me, right, and then some assignments so that you can also start taking it up as an assignments for you to build the knowledge. Then Docker Swarm is a parallel to Kubernetes, right? It's an orchestration tool developed by Docker, right? But they realized it very late, right? Google before that, Google already come up with a orchestration platform called Kubernetes. Docker realized late, but they also come up with their own orchestration called Swarm, Docker Swarm, right? Swarm is basically cluster management, right? Where we do orchestration is nothing but to manage, right? It's just a word, right? But the simple word to understand is manage. So it will manage my containers, right? So basically it's a container management tool, right? So here, if you have a multi-tier application stack, right, how it will be deployed in this to a cluster based environment, right? So using Docker Swarm, I'll be doing that thing also as a production environment. I'll have my full-fledged cluster and deploy my application, and in production, how we manage application, how we scale up, right? How we remove, how we delete, how we delegate, right? To which node, which cluster, all that thing we'll be discussing here with all the use cases. And then create, deploy full stack application, rolling update, rollback, multi-tier deployment, all that thing, right? And I'll be preparing you for DCA also, right? So everything is certification track, right? So this is how your course has been designed, and we refresh this course every month. As in when any new thing is coming up, we do the full refresh of these courses. All right. So this is how about the thing now, right? So we have come to the end, and if you have anything, right, any questions, anything in mind, I would be like pleased to have your questions, right, and give you all the information which you need. Any questions, guys?
Sir, this is Geeta. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah. Sir, I'm looking for a change where a cloud platform as AWS, Terraform, and Kubernetes. So that integration of all these platforms, will you be covering that also, or means how individually we are taking it as Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform? Means I had selected those courses, but I want them all together to be used up in a continuous integration deployment, or where actually these are being combined and these services are being used up on a end-to-end services. So that focus will be there in this session. That's what is my requirement is. I will be mastering in Kubernetes, in Docker, in Terraform, or any of the cloud platform like Azure, AWS, or whatever it is. But I want all them to be used up so that um, combined integration and the usage in the corporate level, like where on a day-to-day activities we will be using them, how it will be used up. So can you focus on that in your journey so that it
Sure,
will be
Geeta.
very helpful for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I got your question, Geeta, and that's a nice question. See, all these tools are not one platform. These tools have their own thing. Terraform is a different thing, right? It's an infrastructure management tool. So Terraform is coming from HashiCorp, different vendor, different tool, but they come under DevOps. All right, if you're going to manage as an infrastructure management, as a cloud admin managing the infrastructure as well, right? You can go with Terraform. All right, Amazon Cloud or Azure Cloud, these are again a separate platform, right? So if your job current role demands that you should learn Azure Cloud or Amazon Cloud or Google Cloud or any other cloud, right? They have their own course, they have their own modules, they have their own certification track, they have their own thing, right? Now, Kubernetes and Docker, which I'll be teaching you. See, Docker is universal, right? You should know, everybody who is want to come into DevOps, the first thing they should know DevOps, they should know Docker, right? Whoever wants to start their journey with the DevOps, the first tool they should know is Docker, because Docker will tell you what is the traditional tools we were using and what is the modern tool which you use, but how to use, how to build, how to onboard application, and you should know how to build your own microservice based architecture application, right? So Docker is the mandatory. So Docker I will be covering. Kubernetes, if you learn Kubernetes on bare metal, right, the same Kubernetes, only the difference is the installation is different. Azure will install the complete cluster for you. You have to just go start one service, it will set up the cluster in background, it will start node and set up the cluster automatically, but they will charge you. If you go to Amazon, right, you just start the Kubernetes service, they will charge you, they will build the whole cluster for you. They have the ready-made script which will get triggered, and within 5, 10, 20 minutes, your cluster will be up and running. Right? If you go to any other third party Kubernetes on different vendor, so the Kubernetes architecture will remain same. Nobody can change the architecture, not the Azure or Amazon or Google. Nobody can change the architecture, functionality, the way we deploy application, the way we learn the architecture, right, will be all same. Only the installation and configurations in Azure will be slightly different in Amazon, slightly different in Google Cloud, slightly different in other cloud, right? In bare metal, we will be setting our own cluster. We will not take just that vendor and start the service and my cluster is running and I don't know what it is doing in the background, right? So for that reason, I'll be doing on bare metal, which will be completely from the scratch. I'll be building each component, each node, and then collection of these nodes, my Kubernetes whole cluster will be built on top of it. So that I'll be doing. So Kubernetes architecture, once you could learn Kubernetes, it fits all the cloud vendor, whether Amazon Cloud, Azure Kubernetes or Amazon Kubernetes or EKS or maybe Google Cloud GKE or maybe Oracle Cloud OCI Kubernetes. Anywhere Kubernetes architecture nobody can change. It will remain same. The command, the functional, the deployment, the process, the APIs, everything will be as is. Only the installation will be different. Obviously, when they will give you machines, they'll give you the Kubernetes as a ready-made thing and all that thing, they will charge you. So I will not go to that, but yes, I'm covering it, right? Terraform is something which I will not be covering. Terraform is a separate course. Once you learn these tools, right, you can go for Terraform separately. You can check with Visualpath, they'll put in some batch and you can build the knowledge on Terraform.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have a question. Like,
Sure.
as I said, I'm doing it parallelly. So, does do you see any dependency of learning Docker and Kubernetes?
No, I didn't get
Once
your question. Parallelly, you are doing what?
I'm taking up Terraform also, evening
Okay.
session. I'm going
Okay.
with Terraform. Yeah.
Okay.
So, is there any dependency, or I can take it individually? That should
No,
be a
no.
fine.
Terraform is fine. It's not that
Okay.
heavyweight thing. You can manage it, and you later also can use it. You can do parallel.
Okay.
Docker and
Okay.
these are basically your knowledge in DevOps. The first step, right? When the baby born, right? It doesn't start running from day one, right? Baby step we take. Same way in DevOps, Docker and Kubernetes essentially. Docker is the basic foundation, and Kubernetes is the big giant, big elephant, right? Which DevOps whole load everything will be without Kubernetes. Without Kubernetes DevOps, you cannot say you are a DevOps guy. You are DevOps professional. So Kubernetes gives you a platform where my containers, which I will be building using Docker, will be running, monitoring, all that thing, complete platform I'll be managing as a cloud, right? All that thing you'll be doing it. So Terraform, you can take it parallelly, no problem, absolutely fine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other question, guys? Sunny, Ramesh, Ramki, Kunal?
Uh, yeah, thanks myself to Ram, and thanks for the detailed demo. I
Yeah,
would
Ram.
like to understand our course focus would be on AKA or AKAD. If both, how much percentage of each?
What is AK and AD? I didn't get that. Can you
I
please
mean,
elaborate?
administration and development developer.
Okay,
So
okay.
our focus, yeah.
Yeah. So I will be doing one at a time, right? CK I
Okay.
will do first because
So this
CK,
demo is for both. You mean to say?
yes, demo is for both, but the course track will
Yeah.
follow CKA. But especially if you want to only go for development side, which is CKAD, right? That
Okay.
you can pay charges little bit extra and then you can go after the CKA because as I said, 30% is only difference. So few
Okay.
modules
But
I'll be teaching
uh,
you as an
this
addition.
demo is primarily for administration only, right?
Yes, yes, CKA, which covers almost all the nuances and semantics of CKAD, but 30% is different, which is not part of the thing. For that, the separate track is there. We call CKAD track, focusing only
Okay.
development.
Okay. Thanks. And again, where would we be practicing? Is it AWS only?
Yes, not on AWS. EKS I'm not going to use. Elastic Kubernetes services I'm not going to use. It's a bare metal only. I'll just taking the machines from there and set up my own cluster.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The
Yeah,
platform would be AWS, right?
AWS. Yes, yes, yes. If you have AWS account, it would be very nice for Docker and Kubernetes course. And we will
Okay,
be
fine.
using free tier, right? So I'll be teaching you that Amazon part, AWS, how to access and how to set up the environment, how to start control. I'll be teaching you that AWS also.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. And
I
one
thought
more thing. How long the course would be? I mean, duration.
Course from weekdays if we take, right, Monday to Friday if we take, Thursdays I'm not
Okay.
there, guys. Thursday because of my
Okay.
project and all that thing. So we have a new project and late evening till 10 I'm not available. So Thursdays I'm not available, but Monday to Friday I'm available, except Thursdays. So I will do 1 hour. We will do this course. So Docker will take around 3 weeks and 3 weeks for Kubernetes, or maybe 4 weeks for Kubernetes. So around 6 to 7 weeks we'll finish both the courses, considering
Okay.
4 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
and hello,
Uh,
what about Azure container instances?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate? Because Azure and container
ACI.
instance.
Yeah, Azure is providing Azure container instances, so that is another container like Docker that we have to
Yes.
learn separately.
No, 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 no. See, once you learn Docker, see, these vendors are very clever. So what they do, they install Docker and everything and they give you an ACI, Azure container, which they say. So the node itself will have Docker running on that node and you can spin up any container on that node. So they come there,
I
but
not got I
we are not
I
going to
not
that
got
part.
I not got the answer.
So what I'm saying, I will be doing only on Docker, not on Azure. Anything on Azure, I'm not going to touch that part. That is one. AC Azure, what happens is basically to install Docker and then you can spin up the container. So what they club together on their Azure node, Azure VM machine. All right. So that means Docker is already running. You just go and spin up your container, right? But eventually it's a Docker container only. So you go with automation as an Azure ACI, you can go with Azure and you can do that. I will not go with Azure or any other vendor. I will be just have my Docker instance and all the content will be there. So it will be a manual step, not automated step. The Docker is provided to me and then my Docker is running and I will be starting the container. I will be not doing that Azure part, but I'll be setting up all the things on Docker
But for
as a
learning Kubernetes, you will use which platform? AWS or what?
AWS, but only machines I'll be using. Everything will be bare metal. I'm not using any third party vendor, Azure, AWS, Google, or any other vendor. As I said, this bare metal is universal. If you know the bare
Okay.
metal, it fits all the sizes because nobody can change the architecture of anything, right? So architecture will remain same. If you go to Azure is okay to start this thing, okay, start the service, and then your container will be up and running. You'll be giving image name, version, and all that thing. They will be doing automatically through the template thing, but here we'll be doing it everything manually. So if you understand manual, even the automation also. So whatever manual things we do, that only we do automation. So manual things, if you are strong and your foundation is strong, automation you can do anything because it's a templatized thing. Pass on the parameters and your container is up and running.
And what is the 30% difference between CK, means that administration and development? What are the that few topics of 30%?
So application design patterns, right? If you are a developer, how you are going to design the application, you should know some patterns, right? You should know some endpoints, integration points. So those is the only 30% which is different. But ultimately, you have to come to Kubernetes. So Kubernetes, we are already there as a platform. But while building the solution as a developer, what all things you keep in mind? What are the design pattern you should know while designing the application? So all those comes under 30%. 70% it is same. Right, if you remember sidecar and all those things, exposing the
Yeah, yeah.
services, yeah, English thing.
Sidecar, init container, those are.
Yes, init container, log containers, monitoring, everything.
And what about that ambassador and
It's a part of
there's a
design patterns. Yes.
okay ambassador and few others. Yeah.
Yes.
And hello, one thing I
Yeah.
would like to ask,
Sure, Kunal.
if I am getting a job on this Kubernetes, if I will work with company, yeah, definitely I will join this class. But if I will get any query which I can't able to resolve, should I
Hmm.
personally connect and take a support from you for completing that specific task?
Yes. If you are project related, so there is some charges I will charge based on hourly support, whatever you need. But if it's something ongoing, on the fly, on the go, is something you want to clarify the doubt, I'll give my all the access, like WhatsApp group access or maybe my email, personal email. You can drop your query there, I will respond it. Not immediately, but in the late evening, sometime in the late evening, somewhere I will respond. So you will get
Okay.
that support.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure, Kunal. Any other question, guys? I think most of people it's late. See, I
Uh,
sometimes what happens, I give a lot of information, and sometimes people they have time constraint. I can understand that. Yeah, tell me, boss.
so what would be the timing?
Timing normally what I'm deciding is 8:30 to 9:30 in the evening. That is what
Okay.
the slot. I'm planning even 8:40 to 8:45 to 9:45 or maybe 9 to 10. So from 8:30 to 10 in between we are going to targeting this batch to start.
EM.
Okay. It would be evening batch only, right?
I was planning for morning, but let's see. This is the slot Visualpath gave me, and let's see if what people, other people consensus say. If they say morning fine,
Okay.
evening fine, based on that we'll take decision.
Again, one more question.
Sure, Ram.
Should we will get all the notes which are documented, so in future after 1 year, 2 year or 4 year, if we would like to take or we would like to recall it, so we can able to do.
Yes. So what happens is all the sessions will be recorded. So we are going to build a huge library of recorded sessions, right? And it will be date wise. So you know the sequence, which was done first, which was done second, which was done. So we'll maintain that thing. Plus all the information, all the documentation based on, let's say we are doing today some container building or image building module. I'll be giving you all the documents, right? Everything will be uploaded into your G drive. You will be provided an access and that will stay with you, right? How many years
Yeah,
that we need to check with Visualpath, but in future also, not only once you finish the course and the access will be disabled, it will be there. You can even refer later also. Any recording,
because
any training material,
the,
anything.
we should able to go copy paste that content to use in our future use or reference code and
That is the
everything.
end goal.
So,
That is the end goal. That is why we are giving you that access, and everything will be online available to you, including recording session. Later, let's say 6 months when you are on project, you forgot that, oh, how I configure storage. You will just go and play the recording of that storage thing, and you will be able to do that. So for references, we are going to give you full access to those repositories.
okay.
One more thing. Would this be in class or online or both?
No, online, only online. We don't have time,
Only
man.
online.
Who will travel to particular center and come back
Yeah.
and go for job?
Yeah, I get.
Online.
I get. I just want to get
Yeah,
clarity.
yeah.
Prashant, right now you are located at what location?
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
You guys are from which part?
Hyderabad.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, Prashant.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me. I'm there.
Should we get your personal contact right now here? You can able to speak and we can able to type right now.
No, no. It will be through Visualpath. See, they have the process and they will enable all the things. So it will be through Visualpath, right? So trainers normally don't deal directly with the candidate. It will always be through Visualpath. So if you have anything, they will set up a call with me, and then you, me will be connected. We'll talk and we'll clarify your doubts. That is
Yeah,
possible.
for that course session and everything, we will do that. But today, right
Yes.
now, I'm working with my project and I have one query. For that, I need your
No.
help. So I would like to connect. So for that, I said,
Later, later. So you want all free of cost services, right, Kunal? First register and then things will start following up. Without registration, it is difficult even for us.
yeah.
All right, guys. Any other question? Any doubt on timings, course, duration, certifications, anything?
Again, this all certification are provided by means they are
Authorities.
providing.
Yes, certificate
Yeah,
authority.
you
Everything
you
will be
have to
directed
pay
to.
and they are clearing that because it's hard to clear those all certification. So that any facilities available.
See, they give enough resources. Plus, I'll be train. I will use my all experience to get you certification immediately after the course completion. So I'll be building a profile for that only, and whatever time we spend. Right? Plus, we have simulation also. I know what resource you have to touch and prepare and get certified in one go. So all that we'll put our efforts for that. There are several sessions which I'll be teaching you, I'll be guiding you, I'll be telling you this is the approach you should follow and get certified in this time frame and all that thing. We'll have our own plan strategy in place. We'll just execute the strategy, right? But we will implement after the finish of this course. I'll take one dedicated session for certification preparations, and then you go for certification. It's not that tough. Many people are doing. Only thing is, you should have your fundamentals strong. If your fundamentals are strong, then you can go for the certification. You should know how to link, how to do, because there are around 17 questions would be asked. So per question you will have only 10 minutes. So if your approach go wrong and you start losing that question, then it will be very difficult to clear the exam. But I'll tell you all that thing, all trade and techniques I'll tell you. Don't worry about it. And simulation I'll give you. That is the only resource which I recommended most of the people, right? So that they should not get confused. And it's a complete focused thing, complete structured, well planned, well structured. You will be certified. I'm damn confident. Yeah, Kunal,
Uh,
that was your
yeah,
question, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I shared my number, so it is possible for that Swatik or Ramak or
Speak to them.
Bhaskar or Sunny to connect with me, and we can connect with that all the policies we needed, and we will take admission. So please note down my number, and we will do that classes. Because all left, only we 4 5 are interested right now.
Yeah.
Hello, Sunny.
So so
Hello, Bhaskar.
anyhow, we'll be creating the badge for you. Don't worry about it, Kunal. It's just leave it a few things to us. We'll do everything. Your WhatsApp group and everything will be created. You whoever is going to register, we'll create a batch, not for the unknown people who are not there in the batch and they are not going to participate for these trainings. So that WhatsApp group, everything will create it. Don't worry about it.
So I would like to talk with Sunny, Bhaskar, and Swatik. Please note down my number and connect with me. We will connect and we will do that together. My number is 8999 367 541. I'm repeating. My number is
So
8999 367 541. So connect
Kunal,
with me and we will do.
Kunal, I would suggest go with Visual Path together and
Yeah,
discuss
yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Any
Sunny,
other
I'm repeating one more time. 8999
man?
367 541.
Any
Uh,
other questions,
um,
guys?
yeah, sir, I have a last question, might be
Sure.
silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. No question
One,
is silly. There's no right and
one
wrong. Just ask.
suggestion is
Yeah.
I see that we will be having a good learning based on the basic background what you had given. I got a confidence that it will be a good learning for us, for all of us.
Sure.
One help which I may need is once
Hmm.
our course is done and I am going to modify my resume with the skill set what we are learning. So any validation on the resume,
I'll
something.
help you. I'll help you to design your CVs, profiles, all that thing. Don't worry. So normally last session I do all these things. What all things
Okay.
you should put in your profile, how your CV look like, what all things in from Kubernetes Docker you should add so that it will be selected, it will be
Okay.
shortlisted. All that thing I do in a separate session. Normally last session I keep for that, where I'll be doing
Okay.
even the CV assessments and giving you some tips to update the CVs and all that thing.
Okay, sure.
How to write project experience and all that thing. Okay.
Yeah, Ram, Bhaskar, or Sunny, please connect with me. I'm posted my number 899367 541. Please connect with me, and we will together
I would
make a
still
good
suggest,
batch.
guys, you are repeating again and again. I would suggest go with Visualpath directly
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
have the
yeah.
knowledge. They are the service provider. They
Yes.
know what to provide, how to provide, when to
Yeah,
provide, what is the process, all that thing.
yeah,
Are you
yeah,
from Visualpath, Kunal?
yeah.
You are from Visualpath. You are working here.
Yeah, no, I already completed my one course here, which is
Hmm.
based on Terraform,
Hmm.
and right now I'm interested for Kubernetes and Docker because those are today's means main tools for deployment for DevOps engineer.
So you and Geeta in
Every
the same batch or
interview,
different?
every interview, they are asking me question on Kubernetes.
I told you, no, these are the basic tools in the DevOps. Without
Yeah,
Kubernetes, life is hell, man. You cannot say even DevOps. The moment you say DevOps, the first thing they'll ask in Kubernetes.
yeah.
Prashant, this is Ram. Thanks for
Yeah,
the
Ram.
session. It was very informative, and yeah, I would get in touch with you.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Anytime, anytime.
Thanks. Bye.
All right,
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, guys. See you then. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sunny. Thank
Prashant,
you, Bhaskar.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Good, good.
the next class will be on Monday or tomorrow we have class.
Check with Visual Path because I don't
Okay,
know
fine.
how people are going to register, who has given their voice, not voice, or they are following. Some
Okay,
people join, some people not join. So if they want
okay,
to wait for a day or not, just check with them. Right? They will notify you, me together, and we will meet again.
Yeah.
so
Okay?
I hope that the instructor will not be changing.
No, no, I'm here. I'm there since last 5 years with them, and they know who is what. So it will not happen in that way. And you know my name, right? You can mention my name also. My name is Prashant.
What is the full name?
Prashant Pariyar.
Prashant Pariyar. Thank you for that.
No worries. Any other question, guys, before we close this meeting? Are we good for the day?
Happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in. Have a good day.